Good evening, chat, and welcome back to the fourth week now of the ETF2L Autumn 2024 season, aka season 48. Tonight, we are going to be witnessing NOOBPANZER and sammakot duking it out for, well, surprisingly, a playoff spot. I don't think anybody was expecting sammakot to get this far so far in the season, but they've been doing decently well. But before I get ahead of myself, hi, I'm Cerny, joined by Animation on the camera and Ben on the mic. How you doing, man?
Doing very good, and yeah, we'll sort of spin back to that because yeah, sammakot have had a decent start. I know there's like a stigma, sorry, about teams coming up from Div 1 and bombing out, but I feel like the stigma's sort of like maybe washing away slightly in the last couple of seasons. We've had obviously Nandem do well before, and like Varmkov the season before all had very good runs, and yeah, sammakot have had a great start this season. They're up there in the middle of the pack, and yeah, maybe pushing over playoffs.
So you have to conclude the caveat with that. They've also only faced one of the top teams so far, that being Skeda, and got soundly beaten by the
Yeah, that is
5
true.
0
That is true.
5-0 both maps. So realistically, unless they've obviously, warmed up a little bit over the season now, improved themselves, and etc., etc., you would expect it to be a similar story against NOOBPANZER today, who have also been looking mighty strong this season so far.
Yeah, absolutely. They've only dropped one map themselves, and that was that game against Forfens just last week. And yeah, Forfens, they've had a tumultuous time, but they're a very, very strong team, and all the top French stack always doing well. They've made the playoffs in the last God knows how many seasons at this point. So yeah, new Panzer looking so strong, and yeah, looking at the players on looking down their roster, they've got some big names carrying the torch. This time, Huge going to be in for Ghazi. I know on their team page they've got like a little slash between them. I think they're sort of mixing it up as the season goes on. Maybe availability is not too good, but Huge has had some great last couple of seasons, particularly that one back on Varmkov just 2 seasons ago. So it is maybe one to watch out for.
I mean, I think it's also the caveat also is that I think Hugie is going to be standing in for them at LAN, as far as I
Oh,
understand it. At least that's what I gathered from the team page. Is that Ghazi was intended to play for them during the season whenever it worked, and then the idea would be that Hugie would maybe stand in for LAN or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the plans are.
that's unfortunate. The German player can't play the German LAN.
I don't know. Like, as far as I'm aware, Ghazi is a pretty busy man nowadays, so it wouldn't surprise me at
Yeah.
least if he wasn't going to be able to make LAN. But who knows? Maybe he will make LAN, and instead Yuji's just getting his time of the day now because Ghazi's busy with something else. Who knows, right? Certainly, if you're gonna compare those two scouts, you would assume Ghazi more experienced, probably better. But Yuji's still very much capable, very much so capable of making something happen. And well, I think it won't matter that much anyway when you consider the enemy team. Even if sammakot have been looking decently strong, they're across the board just not as experienced as NOOBPANZER are.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, obviously coming up from Div 1 last season is a tough ask, and yeah, they've had some good wins so far, but yeah, this is other than that Skeda game, this is the toughest hurdle they've come across so far. But yeah, on the topic of scouts and maybe people not playing scout, I've noticed that S&H is in this server, and if ever I'm thinking of like scouts who can have some crazy impact with off-classing, and back in Poland was there subbing in for Mandem, had some crazy clips, so could be one to watch out for playmaking over on the sammakot side. But less tournament and more tournament because the game is going live. We're on Metalworks map number 1, sammakot over there in the blue, and in the red we have NOOBPANZER.
We'll see how they set the stage with this first little mid-fight as things are kicking off, and who will take the lead, take the first step in this dance for the next 30 minutes as, just a bit of spam, the usual that you expect out of it. Is a high bomb out of black straight away across, but nothing to really land on as Ryan responds with his own on the other side. Puck as well going up high into the air, but they're not finding anything with those bombs, and Huge is actually going to be the first to fall. Finally traded out for S&H on the other side.
They're all just clustered on the health pack. They're in such a bad position there on the sammakot side, all taking so much damage, so much spam, and yes, they do get the kill into Hugie, but that's all that they really find. Everyone gets absolutely squashed there on the retreat, and now just 2 players surviving. Seeds goes down in the meantime, and Piggles is going to have a mega uber advantage for pushing last with.
Well, it's certainly an easy one to convert if you're NOOBPANZER here. The question is, will sammakot have a response for it? Because a full Uber to go up against on last is always nasty, but they have a little bit of time at least. Set up a bit of a sentry, set up a heavy, perhaps get him over heal, get into position. They got everything in their core to work with, anything they can at least at this point, but It's going to be on NOOBPANZER to not fail this push. Pickles or Rearin to go use his Uber, and they're going on the far side this time around as they go right behind the crate. Fight essentially immediately knew where it was going to be. Just call it intuition or whatever. Corey still showing on the heavy though. Unfortunately gets spotted very quickly as well, taken down immediately, and people are just falling like flies on sammakot's side. At the very, very least, they found a frag onto Pickles and Gigi, so there might be a chance there, but unfortunately, nobody else that was still remaining could take care of the remaining DPS either, so it's a quick first round for NOOBPANZER.
Yeah, I said SNH was good, but I'm not sure the 1v4 there, even with a medic beam, is going to be too possible. Yeah, nice conversion there from NOOBPANZER. The heavy, I believe, on Corey there was hiding out in a curious spot behind there in the lobby area. Maybe he was trying to come in for some sort of post fight, but was just snuffed out instantly with Voxy and GG in that Uber. Really well converted there from NOOBPANZER. Got their first round on the board in, what, 2 minutes? It's a speed run.
Yeah, they're certainly trying to set a record of some kind if they can keep up this momentum. We would be looking at a quick Metalworks, but there's always a chance for sammakot to just have a little stumbling stone and now find their way back into this match. Next mid fight unfolds itself, and well, they're looking quite the same as well with the positioning this time around, but maybe they have learned. Maybe they won't fall for the same old tricks again either. They're taking it a bit slowly, both teams not opting for the high bombs just yet, as there's not much ground they would take with that. There's scouts staring him down, they're scared to do him something. Ryan is going to be the first to fall, actually, as he gets run down by said scouts. SNH picking up that frag, and maybe this opens things up a little bit for sammakot to take some guards. Matter of fact, they got the Uber so quickly. Pickles didn't have yet at all. He's not been having that on his radar. Yeah, this is... They gotta just back off of that. I mean, he's not gonna be in any danger for a while, and this Black can just somehow, some way bully his way in here. Just not a fall off by Derpy as well, but they're not gonna be able to get onto this combo in time. They will escape. Pickles will keep that Uber intact, but what an amount of pressure out of sammakot. What a fast build out of seeds. It's gonna win them the mid for the time being.
That could have been so much worse there for NOOBPANZER. They got out just quickly enough there into their own lobby, and yes, they do have this Uber advantage now, but they are going to give up mid, and they are going to have to try and use their advantage to get back in. But yeah, really good heads-up play there from Seeds. Just to know the Uber charge was so mismatched and decide, you know what, we'll just take an Uber charge in and we'll try and charge through. But on the other side now, NOOBPANZER's turned there in with their own Uber charge, and they're getting, well, maybe this goes to SNH, and that might be all they're getting other than the midpoint. Actually,
nope,
they're getting SNH.
He gets out, and they actually lose Ryan as well somehow. Okay, Black was in behind, obviously, to trade that to kill out, but still, that's it's not looking great for NOOBPANZER at all. They lose DG as well, just out of position, overextended a little bit on the demo, and just like that, the tides turned once more. They couldn't even cap mid either, and now sammakot back on the Uber again, unless they make a huge misstep here, like, you know, not finding Yuji there, which they did, so they're looking mighty fine to try and take the second as well, and maybe it rolls into last if they move quickly enough. Pickles is probably gonna have by the time they have enough players together to really mount a push here, but it is looking like a solid opportunity for sammakot to equalize the scoreline right now.
Yeah, from what was them being distant on mid, to defend that and get all the frags required and still not have to pop out their own Uber charge. They're getting to walk in now. Black going to be coming around the corner, see what's there to be seen. Still into as well, in behind. Double landing towards the point, actually. Vox there on Pyro is going to block that one out as, yeah, Pickles is safe and sound all the way back. The double nowhere near the red medic. And Pickles has got an Uber charge up now, so things have stabilised. Things are going to slow down for a moment, and we'll maybe see if these teams are set for good for the off classes here.
We do see the Hugie sniper on the side of NOOBPANZER, so defensive sniper on Metalworks, not something you see all that frequently because you don't get that many angles, but if they can make a little bit of space for him, he could find a cheeky angle into the lobby if they're not ready for it on the other side. Unfortunately, it seems like he's already been spotted, so he's fighting an uphill battle as we speak already, so it's not going to be the easiest one for him to do anything, but he is defensive at the end of the day. It's not that big of a deal anyway. It's not like he's got a long way to go to get back onto scout or anything like that, and well, Gigi just finds a nice little sticky trap kill onto Black. It still might get caught as well. If he's not careful, he does get out eventually, but that's a scary situation to be in as Ryan tries to trade himself out and accomplishes nothing, but hey, that's how it be.
Yeah, he goes for a bit of a counter-strike opportunity there through the locker side, but isn't going to manage it. And one thing I'm noticing now, I mentioned before SNH on Sniper. SNH is running all the way back to spawn, and I can only assume it is going to pick up the rifle. Yep. There we go, SNH on Sniper. We've seen how good this can be in days gone by. And yeah, Metalworks, like you say, it's maybe not the ideal last to be sniping on, but you can one shot is all it takes. If it all lines up, the stars align, you can win the whole round.
If Piggles isn't quite standing in the dispenser armor at the right time or gets put out of position by a bit of soldier spam, suddenly you're finding yourself with a headless medic, and that is all it's gonna take for the Tides to turn you. Unfortunately, Sylves is gonna be the first to lose his head as Yuji finds that shot and the shutter door, and basically completely stunts any momentum that it could have been out of sammakot for the time being. They have to wait for that soldier to come back in case they want to do anything, and obviously you immediately see GG using the opportunity as well to put down some stickies, shut down some doors, the usual things as you'd expect when the opposing team has to be a bit more passive.
Yeah, Black has also returned to spawn. I'm interested to see what they're going for here. Are they going to cook off anything too crazy? I want to go and check the loadout. Is there anything?
Loadout. He's got Mantreds, okay.
Mantreds, okay. This is good to see.
Alright, it's gonna go for the Mantreds around. I mean, the sentry can be a bit of a hassle here, so that's an interesting idea, certainly, to maybe get into
I've
that
seen it work on Metal
medic. Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. You can turn around that little turn out of the door there nicely. Unfortunately, Sylves loses his head once more. He's not having a good day. He's trying to be a doorstop, and it's not working. Yuji's got his number right now.
Yeah,
figures it out.
Yeah, Yuji's been doing great on this defensive sniper, and yeah, it just buys so much time for the NOOBPANZER side. We're already down to 1 minute 50 on the clock. They've only just got their spawner back in on Sylves, and they haven't really had a proper attempt at a sack, other than right at the very start when they sent that one soldier in. Like, since then, it's always been, we'll push, we'll pressure a little bit up, we've lost a player, gonna have to back out of lobby again, wait for the spawners, and now, before you know it, 3.5 minutes have gone, and it's starting to look a little bit light on the time side for the sammakot side. They've got the sniper peeking in now, ready to go from a shutter. Sylves going to be doorstop once again, but nobody showing for now. On the defensive side, bombs come over the top, double bomb straight in, onto the Piggles, gets dropped by the Mantred soldier. Beautiful coordination there from those two soldiers, straight over the wall and straight down onto the medic. Piggles is dead, and now sammakot have a full Uber ad.
I don't think they respected that enough. I don't think they respected or expected it to happen whatsoever. They were waiting for the sniper to make another move. They saw Sylves standing in the door, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the double bomb comes around. You can't dodge 8 rockets simultaneously. Piggles just doesn't quite find the right mouse button in time. He's gonna have to drop that one.
They may well have both been on They both flopped over that wall so quick. But
might have been. I didn't see, but Sylves did die right before that, so there's a chance he switched off to Mantreds for just that bomb. Well, we'll see now how the shakeout happens afterwards. As the Uber comes in from sammakot, they try to take this last point as best they can. Unfortunately, they haven't really found much besides the sentry so far. As the Uber fades, now they have to deal with all of the remaining players still alive on the side of NOOBPANZER as well. Will they find any frags or any damage at all before losing their own? Derpy is the first to fall, and things are going awry for sammakot very quickly, as they cannot continue to push. Piggles now up on his own Uber again as well. No presence whatsoever for sammakot on that point there, or anything of the note, and, well, I think we're going to a round reset at this point. With 10 seconds left, they might as well send it to the point, but not much to do. NOOBPANZER are certainly happy to see the round reset, and it's a bit of a missed opportunity for sammakot, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't go too well. There was a conch pop to the middle of that as well on the defensive NOOBPANZER side, and yeah, just the gun lived for way too long. They weren't able to get the pressure on the point. I think it was Puck also just landed on the lamp all the way up at the top of the point and just stayed out of harm's way when a low HP and was just there constantly looming, ready to drop on anyone who dared set foot on that point. But great hold from NOOBPANZER, despite losing their medic before, despite being at full disad. They ran a crit there as well. Piggles didn't even get to use the crits in time. It wasn't needed because the defense was so solid from NOOBPANZER. And yeah, 1-0 still after the first round reset as we get up to mid-fight number 3, and it's been one trade apiece on these mids so far, so see who's going to get this third one.
And we'll see if this may spell some more doom for sammakot if they can't find the momentum they need. They got so close just a round ago. If they can continue at that pace, they might have a chance to actually, you know, equalize it, take home some more points, etc., etc. But for now, this mid-fight is being a little slow once more. See, it's building a little bit faster again. You might be able to tell the experience ever so slightly between these mids, but is it going to be another mid where they use immediately? No, he gets just shut down into the corner. Soldiers bombing above you. What can you do? It's a rough situation to be in. Now Piggles is going to have his own as well. So even if he gets pressured, he'll be safe and sound. And he doesn't get pressured because there's nothing sammakot can really do. They're all out already. Off to their last point once more.
Yeah, that's the danger of being caught in a little corner. It's exactly the same that happened to that first mid. The two soldiers can just land on the height either side, and yeah, such great work there from Ryan and from Puck and from the rest of the pressuring NOOBPANZER team is now again rewarded with another chance. We saw before sammakot fumbled, and pretty similar situation with a full Uber add into last, but we've seen NOOBPANZER go 1 for 1 in these so far, so perhaps they're odds on to make it 2 as they're clustering up for exactly the same Uber from this left-hand side.
Yeah, it might work very well again. Unfortunately, Sentry's in a bit of a different space this time around, so it's going to take a slight bit long to take care of. But will it matter? There's so much cap time rolled out already, no frags fallen to them yet. Well, they do find GG eventually, but very much for Black and to the Derpy as well. And even more cap time is going to force the sammakot players onto the point eventually, which they do a decent job at actually protecting. They clean up everybody, matter of fact, except for Hugie and Piggles, who are running for their lives with their tails between their legs. Hugie trying to maybe buy his meta a little bit more time here as he denies Sylves from chasing. And yeah, they're gonna make sure that sammakot doesn't actually get the second cap for the time being. They're gonna have to wait for a little bit longer, and by the time they get to this point, respawners are here, GG's in. Hugie managed to just slip in behind, although SNH has spotted him and will take care of that rat trying to slip through as Sylves gets taken care of on the point, and it may very well be a tough battle ahead for sammakot. Remember, Puck just slips in against the Force out of seeds.
Yes, three players go down over on the NOOBPANZER side, but they do get a force for it. Second point is going to flick. Mid might be flipping 2, depending on how quickly these spawners come in for the red side. But Piggles, full Uber advantage. That's definitely mission success. They are able to block.
It certainly will be, and chasing out anything that tries to overextend your SNH again, trying to buy as much time as he can, but he's gonna have to pay with his life for that. And well, no mid-cap for sammakot. Lots of cap time, though. They managed to at least make NOOBPANZER use their Uber, which means they're basically equal now. Things have equalized. They have another opportunity to reverse the fates for the time being, but we're almost halfway through the map now. They've wasted a lot of time on the side of sammakot. They have plenty of opportunities and haven't capitalized them so far, and it's only going to get harder. Sure, 17 minutes is a lot of time for just a single round, but if they continue at this pace, then things may not look as good for them anymore if it just never picks up anything.
They're aggressing again, and they're playing really, really far in on value. They're ones wanting to take the initiative, but maybe not now that Sylves has gone down. It's not often you see it from the defensive half when the midpoint's being held, even with like Uber's roughly level, as you say. It was maybe a bit of a risky play, but only losing one soldier, not the end of the world in theory. But now it's all about this counter. Soldiers flying in on NOOBPANZER side over onto this point. Ryan snuck behind. I believe Black is aware of that. The chest bump there in the lobby, but that's what the soldiers are watching out for. Puck bombs in.
Okay.
Does a load of damage, but no frags going the way of NOOBPANZER. Other than that sticky trap kill there at the end, but 3 players falling. And this is going to be potentially a free, potentially more, unless the trade comes in and Corey gets dropped in the Uber. Everyone gets dropped in the Uber.
Yeah, but actually, C's hasn't had to use yet. He dropped half of his team on purpose. It was basically a sack wave for the Uber, and you know what? It might actually work out for them. I mean, they're gonna take a while to get spawners up and running. Sure, both of the scouts are outed for a little bit longer, and Piggles is gonna build like a madman in the meantime, but it's still gonna be a hard midpoint to hold for NOOBPANZER, and if sammakot plays this right, they have a chance to maybe even catch something here, you know? Get into this point at least for free, have a better opportunity moving forward, but the longer they take, the longer that Uber will disappear, and Piggles is getting close, so at this point this might just turn into an exchange if they don't move soon, which they finally do. Obviously, NOOBPANZER are woefully aware of what's coming their way. So far out already, nowhere near harm's way. Hugie might be the only one to fall here. He will even trade out for Sylves, and now suddenly NOOBPANZER are back in the driver's seat. They've got the Uber of their own. They're going to try to chase down whatever they can inside of sammakot, who are also doing an admirable job trying to avoid it as best they can. SNH, being a survivalist once more, somehow escaping all harm. And Black is in behind as well, managing to just waltz right into the combo and just do a load of damage. He can take him down. Puck also very low. Will he get that kill? No, he won't. SNH can't clean up anything either, but they bought themselves quite a lot of time once more.
Honestly, I think that fight looks so good for sammakot most of the way through, especially with that Soldier Black coming in from behind, doing so much damage over onto that point, but the damage just didn't seem to materialise into kills, and in the end, NOOBPANZER are the ones to win out the fight. NOOBPANZER are the ones to start walking forwards, and they're the ones who are actually getting second out of all this because the spawners just aren't here in time on sammakot's side. So the way the tables have turned here, and NOOBPANZER, they're sitting absolutely comfortable. Like half the game gone, they're chilling on their opponents' last even Ubers. They can take all the time that they please.
And that is something you hate to see if you're already down around trying to get back into this match. Now it's going to be on NOOBPANZER to maybe solidify their lead a little bit more. Pick up another round, make yourself at home, make yourself a lot more comfortable, I guess, if they so choose. Perhaps it'll be the same push once more, perhaps it'll be Shutter, and perhaps they'll just wait. They'll just wait it out, tick off more time, give themselves even more of a buffer to work with, but Doesn't look like that's going to be the case as they're just pressuring so much ground already. Ryan trying his best to get in there, will eventually get taken down, but they do find the kill onto the heavy. Crucially, Corey somehow gets taken down by 2 people walking in, and even if it gives Black an opportunity to maybe go forward here, nobody's close at all, and they're just going to have to get back to Lost and wait there.
It's such a hard second point to counter-sack out of, though, especially when the enemy side, like NOOBPANZER in this case, just sat all the way back on point. Like, there's all these like little tiny doorways, you got to clear everything. You don't know who might be waiting to try and catch someone pushing out. As they decide to just chill, they're going to wait it out. Corey's going to check and see if anyone's come up any off classes, but it doesn't seem to be the way yet, at least, over for NOOBPANZER, as they're just maybe going to go for something similar. The pressure from the lockers side, maybe some bomb over the top. We saw before the power the man-treads can have into this last point. But it seems again, so far, Ryan just going to be the one jumping out this left-hand locker's side, and Black actually caught all that damage taken from NOOBPANZER, but no frags falling. As Black now, one less soldier to spam these doorways, might open some more space up for the re-aggression. Ryan wants to jump back in, but gets denied completely on that bomb by the sniper.
Yeah, Corey hitting the crucial shot there to deny that bomb from happening. Huge can't really do much against the Sentry, but it doesn't matter because apparently Derpy got so low and all that scrapping that a simple scrap shot just gets him down. GG will be headshot though to, you know, deny that on the other side, immediately trade out the demos, give yourself a little bit of ground to work with, perhaps less doors to be watching, and maybe a chance for someone on sammakot to do something, but Black's already been spotted. He won't be getting out of there. He's gonna have to return back home with the rest of them, and just like that, no opportunity to push out just yet for sammakot, and more time to waste for NOOBPANZER if they so desire, now with Hugie up on the sniper once more as well. Perhaps a playmaker waiting to be happening.
Yeah, we saw Hugie have some great shots there on the defensive side earlier on in this game, but pushing in is all the more difficult, especially on a map like this, all these tight choke points. There's a shot you've got to play as well, but it seems so far again the same players out through these lockers. Ryan gonna go in very, very aggressive. Voxy actually almost goes down in the meantime from the lockers side, and yeah, it was maybe not too coordinated there from NOOBPANZER, getting caught out, not catching the timing they were looking for against Corey and Black here. And yeah, good defense as again just time ticks down. 3 minutes held now for sammakot, 2 more before they get that all-important ground reset that they're after. But yeah, spawners back in. Time for another wave of attack from NOOBPANZER.
They're the ones that want to make something happen here. They wouldn't want to have the same thing happen to them that they just did to the enemy team in the prior round. 2 round resets back-to-back on last, with different teams being the ones resetting, but it certainly would suck if they couldn't just pick up another round here. Nice little body shot, unfortunately only onto the demo there, but it doesn't matter because on the other side, Corey manages to just somehow get an angle onto Pickles. I don't even know how that was possible, but he gets the crack shot, I guess. That's,
yeah, nice
that's absolutely
angle.
Incredible.
Yeah, really nice little angle there, peeking around into main and finds that all-important kill over onto Pickle's second drop of the game over on NOOBPANZER. And now this is really a chance to push out here. There's all 6 players though to defend this. It's going to be tough. They don't really, with using so early flames, with Derpy Hoops gets blasted into the wall as well, not hitting the ground they may be hoping for. They are going to clear this out, and yes, they're going to be at disadvantage when they're trying to hold on, but it's maybe not horrendous, about 30 disad. Maybe they hold to second, but this was not the overcharge they were perhaps looking for here. They got no ground with that.
Perhaps Seed's anticipating the sniper, obviously, you know, popping very early, making sure nobody gets headshot by Hugie's angle there, but it still was such an early pop to try and catch anything with, and it wasn't gonna happen, so now they have to hold the second. They're down 30%. It's gonna be a tough one if NOOBPANZER keep moving. The only thing really working against NOOBPANZER is the fact that they still do have that sniper. Hugie being on that sniper means that he's not really gonna be helping in a push. They're gonna have a hard time really pushing with that sniper unless he manages to get some nasty shots. Obviously, Puck just finding SNH on the flank is gonna make some nice work happen. Still
maybe as well.
Tries to slip in, won't be able to get out though, and with that, sammakot are delegated back to the last point.
This is honestly horrendous if you're sammakot what's happened, right?
Yeah.
Because they were about a minute away from getting a round reset, and now they're stuck on their own last for potentially for another 5 minutes. It could have been a round reset now if they'd stayed on last, but obviously with the Uber ride it's worth going for. Like, you want to try and push out, you want to try and maybe take mid off it too, but they're the ones now on the back foot, they're the ones dropping their demo. Hugie getting a great shot through, point pressure coming out also. Seems like Gigi's been caught by Black, which is going to stem the tide slightly, make it harder to deny this point, harder to get the point caps through, and yeah, they're just going to back out on NOOBPANZER's side. They realise the situation, they realise there's 9 minutes left, and of those, 4.5 could be spent right here.
Turns out NOOBPANZER is a very well-oiled machine at any point except when it comes to pushing last. Matter of fact, they're such a well-oiled machine, they don't even need their medic half the time. Losing their medic apparently doesn't matter at all. Even if Pickles drops, it don't matter. They can still hold on, but as soon as it comes to actually pushing, they start to struggle a little bit. They've been struggling with getting in. Maybe they haven't been giving it their all, knowing they're up around already if they want to play the game like this. But sammakot have been holding this well. They've been doing an okay job despite, you know, losing people to sniper shots like this every once in a while. SNH losing the sniper duel. They've still been doing an okay job just holding the point, keeping the area shut down, and making sure that stragglers that overextend a little bit too much get shut down. And now, even with a sniper out of the equation, Ryan immediately gets taken care of, and Puck trying to peek on the other side is also denied. sammakot feel perfectly at home on their last point.
Yeah, it's all well and good being here perfectly at home, but like I'm looking at the timer and I'm thinking they've got to, like, okay, there is time for a round reset. We're not at the crazy time when there's like 4 minutes left and you have to start going for crazy sacks out of your own last. We're not there yet, but that's in the back of the minds of these players on the sammakot side. They're thinking, you know what, if things go badly, maybe we are going to be stuck there at the end of this game. But so far the holds have been good on this last point. The one round they lost earlier was essentially off the mid, so you can't really say too much about that when they were holding with full disad. And yeah, this hold rock solid. SNH is going to be taking the SVS and actually winning one out against Hugie. Might actually promote the idea of a counter sack opportunity. Sylv's already straight into lobby, and maybe this is the opportunity for a bit of counter aggression to come through over towards this red combo, but it's so hard.
I think he's above the door, meaning you can't walk out onto the point at all. The only other way in is the shutter, and that's being shut down by Ryan on the other side. So you can really try to get an angle, but by the time the respawners come in, you're gonna have an even harder time, and it's starting to look dire if you want to get anything out of this. SNH trying to be forward, won't be able to get that shot off though. Hugie's back on the scout as well, so maybe NOOBPANZER decided, screw it, we're just gonna send it. We're just gonna send in the last pitch. What's the worst that could happen? We get pushed back to mid. Oh no, we're up around anyway. There's barely any time left. SNH gets taken care of as well. They have to worry about that. Ryan picked out of the air though with a sticky trap as Puck tries to slip around, gets sentry down. Nothing happening there. They trade out for black on the other side at the very least, but it's only a mild consolation. Okay, Sylvs did try to go forward as well, and actually he did get the force. Gotta hand him that. He did get the force.
Yeah, great stuff, and that trap's beautiful with a little lamp up at the top. Just, it's great seeing the ragdoll just fly off skyward as the high bomb's about to come in. But again, we've been in this situation before, about 5 minutes ago, with a push out on its way, Puck on Spy, potentially going for some shenanigans over towards this last point. Already sneaking in behind the lobby. Maybe Hugh's going to be the one to bomb in onto the point. Hughie underneath, no frags being found by the scuba just yet. And Puck has slipped the net. I don't think there's time to go for any kind of back cap, but there is certainly time to go for a play in onto the combo, onto Seeds, onto Corey, maybe onto Doobie. Hugh's actually, as the stab comes through, Demoman down, big win for the NOOBPANZER team, and now they're 5v3 with Uberad. And second point's getting capped again!
Yeah, no, they're just gonna get that capped off. I mean, there's still a fighting spirit in sammakot. Usually Corey a bit overextended, trying his best here. SNH actually winning a fight against both Voxy and GG, so he's gonna find a couple of frags to save this a little bit for sammakot, but we are getting into the realm now where the round reset is not feasible anymore. There is no shot that sammakot can go for it. They have to push out of last at some point in the next 5 minutes. They have no choice. They have to do it, otherwise they're done. So this is gonna be a do or die time for them. They've tried it a couple of times now. They've also not managed to do it successfully. But maybe NOOBPANZER is gonna have a push so rancid, so foul in the next 2 minutes that they can just coast to coast, right? It's the only opportunity you have, basically.
But on NOOBPANZER's side, they don't have to take any risk. There's 5 minutes left in the clock. There's 4 minutes 20 on the round reset, and we can see this in the positioning. It's Corey already very deep into lobby. Black going to be the one opening the shutter, see if they can find anything. Might just be finding a shot there onto Ryan as the shutter opens up. Not going to find that one. There's even players underneath as well pressuring them out. It's so hard to break out of last on any map. And Metalworks is certainly no different to most, as we've seen Corey, these angles, they're not great. There's obviously chances, but there's also where Puck is literally stood there in the window just calling out the positioning of absolutely everyone in this lobby the whole time. And yeah, Black falls down, Hugie and Foxy all the way onto Sylvs, and maybe, okay, 2 players fall.
Yeah, they do manage to clean it up, but a bit of pressure on the flank there probably caught sammakot off guard for a second before They responded to it quickly enough. Silves though slips in deep behind as well as Puck tries to do the same on the other side with a shutter door. Corey there to shut him down though, and SNH eats some pipes in the main entrance, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They still got to deal with his soldier behind. Silves trying his best to just be a very big nuisance here. Will eventually get cleaned up, but buys himself or much rather his team a little bit of time, but ultimately doesn't really amount to much. He doesn't trade himself out for any other frags, and we're back to square one. Hugie back on the sniper as well, seeing if you can counter this. And Sammakot, they've just wasted another, well, roughly 2 minutes of their time.
Yeah, it was a good effort. I liked the fact that they got Silves behind just to try and go for something, but yeah, it was a little MGE session there in the house, but it was rudely interrupted by the scouts just appearing in the soldier v soldier battle. A couple of nice meat shots coming in, but now, yeah, like you say, less than 3 minutes left on this timer, and they're just going to trade it in. They're going to have to use it at some point, and they decide to just go for it. They're going to run it straight to the left-hand side. Silves taken down. The Uber charge already running through to last, and this might not be finishing 1-0. This might be going even more in the favour of NOOBPANZER if this fight is anything to go by. So many players dropping. 3 go down, 4 go down. And surely NOOBPANZER now, they can just walk it in. It is almost round done. Derby, you can do what you can. SNH and Corey doing some good work there in the backline, but there's not enough players alive. And yes, they had to take the risk, but that's just the matter of the time. And 2-0 down now. That is GG as NOOBPANZER are certainly taking map 1.
There's I think a theoretical possibility if Sammakot somehow wipe every fight that they can still equalize this. 2 rounds in 2.5 minutes is, I think, theoretically possible, but they would have to play absolutely out of their minds. Not only do they have to toggle, they do have to pull out some crazy shenanigans. Perhaps the crits are going to make a difference here, although it does seem like we do have them on both sides. And there is a heavy in play out of the side of NOOBPANZER as well, with Hugie picking up the minigun, so it's going to be even harder for that to work through. Matter of fact, that heavy may very well get laser beams in the near future, so you're going to be having a world of hurt depending on who decides to use the crits first. Obviously, Seeds has his own a little bit sooner, and they're rearing to send it in. Okay, did you find out the pickles? That's a big one. That's the one you want to find. Now they just got to keep it rolling forward. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. They have to use this momentum. They have no choice but to just keep holding W if they want to pick up 2 rounds in whatever limited time they have.
Yeah, absolutely. They're getting all the frags. It's only Puck who's behind. Ryan is running out with that pickaxe. But could be a bit of an unwelcome surprise, maybe to come in and block this point as SNH is trying to cap it out. This could buy some valuable seconds. The one comes in. Puck getting blasted away. SNH is... Ooh, it's getting awkward. It's getting awkward. They trade. Second punch not getting capped up.
That's really, really awkward. Corey's gonna run back as fast as he can to try and cap it off together with Black, but now they're missing on the last point. The respawn is not gonna be there for a while, but the few that are there are doing a lot of work getting people off the point. It won't be enough, but it will buy a little bit of more time, and we are down to 60 seconds for a second round for Sammakot to have a chance. Now, if you're NOOBPANZER here, you just don't even go to mid, and you probably win the map. But we'll see if they do that.
They can absolutely just chill, get the heavy, get the gun, go full goblin mode on their own point. But it's such a shame for Sammakot because they're showing what they're capable of. They're showing that they're like, in these fights, that they're definitely a match, and it just hasn't been that way for the rest of this game. They got locked on their own last point for so long. So now with 35 seconds as the players reach the midpoint, they've got to go all in. But I don't know, I'm just worried there's not enough time here to make this even physically possible. Even with pain trains all round, even with everyone stacking all the points, it's sure they're not going to be now. They're losing so many players on the low ground. Great damage. Moxie, Ryan, Hugie all lighting up the kill feed as GG is called. Midpoint goes the way of NOOBPANZER. And so does the first map. Metalwork's going to be 2-1.
Yep. I mean, not necessarily unexpected. We did say that it is likely that NOOBPANZER would be the winning team here, but I certainly didn't expect the scoreline to be so close, or Sammakot to have as good of a showing as they did for the most part. I mean, they spent a lot of time on their own last, but, you know, just a little bit more on the execution, and that second round could have very well been theirs as well, instead of going to a round reset, and then perhaps we would have been looking at a completely different story, right? There's, like, just a tiny bit of execution lacking, perhaps a little bit of
they had that
coordination missing. They had that huge Uber ad and couldn't quite get it finished. A bit disjointed on the push, but just a little bit clean up on that, and we would have looked at a completely different story, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a super close game, and a game was decided by these fine margins, and those being that Uber ad push. We saw the drop come in onto Pickles with that man treads bomb over the wall. Absolutely love to see it, and they just weren't able to convert afterwards. And then later on in the same round, they got locked on that last point for I think it was pushing on about 12 minutes. They were
Yeah,
just stuck there 12, 13 minutes. It was so long because every single time Pickles would either drop or get forced or whatever, and they'd push out, but just get no further than their own second point when they get forced. And obviously, like in hindsight, I can sit here and use hindsight and the fact that we're in fly cam and all those things. Say, oh, well, you just stay on last and get the round reset. Obviously, in the moment, it is worth doing it. But every single time they were punished, so it must feel absolutely awful over on the Samakot side, knowing that happened not once but twice in
getting an
that bomb map.
insane yeah, getting an insane ad like that multiple times and just not being able to convert on it is painful. It's a terrible, terrible feeling. As we get to see some numbers, the first thing that sticks out to me is that yes, it was indeed a slow game where people sat on last for a while because
Yep.
nobody did any damage at all. It was slow, all right. Some fragging, sure. I mean, in the end, but it's actually pretty equal across the board. That's the next curious thing here, right? Kills are pretty much the same across the board. Damage is almost exactly the same. It's very close. Piggles dropped twice, and it didn't matter. That's like the only really different real difference between the teams. Piggles died a lot more, or much rather dropped a lot more, and it didn't matter at all. It never solidified into anything for Sammakot,
I'd
unfortunately.
argue that one of those drops, like in the long term, actually benefited them. That one where they baited them out of last and just went straight back in.
Yeah,
That bought them so much time. But yeah, it was like you say, it was a super close game, and I know coming into this, obviously New Pans that the high flying star-studded roster that like people were predicting to go for great long playoff runs this season, and Samakot, the team coming up from Div One, like on paper, maybe it is, there is a bit of a gulf, but here I think Sabacot had a great showing, and these teams are closer than perhaps at least I thought they would be coming into this game because I think they were really closely matched teams, and like I've said before, it's a match that was decided by those fine margins, and that's just a testament to how closely matched these teams were on the day.
yeah. That goes to show how maybe the Giants can be felled. Maybe New Panzer they were looking strong at the start of the season, but now that they're starting to go up against some of the more difficult opponents, perhaps things are going to be looking a bit different for them going forward as well. Especially we're going to be looking at their future. Well, Samakot again, they also haven't gone up against most of the gauntlet just yet, but they're showing a strong showing against one of the top teams in Prem right now. So honestly, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we may see more of them. For now, we still have another map though, where they can very much so show what they're made of. Perhaps Granary will suit them a lot better.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, that's going to be our second map. I don't think we know who's picked what. At least I don't know who's picked what. So maybe this is the Samakot pick. Maybe this is one they've been cooking up all the strats. They were watching the game last night, seeing Fancy bomb in with the base jumper equipped and just rain death from above. Like there's all sorts of things being made possible with these new latest wireless updates in particular. But yeah, maybe this is their pick, and obviously it's got some critique and it's got some lovers, it's got some hate. It's a bit of a marmite of TF2 maps, if I may say so. It's got some strengths, some weaknesses, but it's going to be yeah, good to see how they get on with this with the longer map. Another really tough stalemate to break from multiple tough stalemates, arguably as well, with those around second. So a game that slowed down like last time is not out of the realms of possibility on a map like Granary, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a chance that Samakot can put another fight up here for New Panzer at the end of the day. We'll have to see if they don't let it rattle themselves that they couldn't quite have the execution on Metalworks, right? If they don't get too rattled, if they have the mental to just look forward and be like, all right, whatever happens, right? We got close. We'll get him this time around. Then I can certainly see them maybe even taking this map somehow and taking some more precious points away from New Panzer and putting themselves in a nice position for that fourth playoff spot. Because I think at this point nobody's really doubting that the top three are probably going to be taking Mandem, Skeda, New Panzer, right? I don't think anybody's really going to cast any aspersions upon that. It's going to be up to that fourth playoff spot though, because I think there's like four teams that can make that,
Yeah, literally, like
basically.
you're looking at them, like you're like, because I don't know, I'd say before the season, I'd be saying forfeit as like one of maybe like
Yeah,
one of the lock-ins for playoffs, right? And honestly, they've played all the hardest teams. I know they're like currently sat like bottom half of the table. Their games so far, they've played Mandem, Skeda, NOOBPANZER and like Garda, I think, so far this season, and they just can't win golden caps. But like, there's a real chance that they just like run through the rest of the season, winning everything, and are all supposed to be a lock-in. This is, yeah, I know it's these seasons, especially like the post-witness landscape that we're in at the moment. They're so crazy. With anyone can beat anyone, any teams can make playoffs, and you get some really great storylines with it. And Granary might just be one of those as we get here ready for the rollout. Going to be once again sammakot over there in the blue, NOOBPANZER in the red, and as we said, it's going to be all important points coming at that tail end of the season. Who's going to make playoffs? Who is going to fall just shy? NOOBPANZER 3 points on board so far, but going to hope to make it 6.
Oh, if sammakot can have any word with it, they certainly would want to get themselves some precious points taken away from a top contender. And, well, we'll see how this first midfight sets the stage as Ryan and Buck both go very high, and Buck goes very deep into the enemy lines. Unfortunately, finds absolutely nothing. Bit of damage, sure, but they actually get cleaned up. Half of the team is dead. For NOOBPANZER here, GG might be next to fall as well. Does just narrowly escape. Does win the fall damage lottery. Won't be dying to that one as Pickles missed his arrow, but they're doing good for now. And inside of NOOBPANZER, at least they get out with their crucial team members in store. But sammakot are keeping up the momentum as well. They're already all over second. Mid hasn't even been capped yet. They're ready to go into last as soon as they can possibly do it. As Silves just sets himself in, gets synced with the stickies. Okay.
Oh, that would have been crazy. That wasn't too far away from Pickles as well. That would have been one of the maddest med drop /falls / whatever if that had come off. Gets absolutely missiled across the point by the sticky trap. How on earth do they not die to the trap? I am so confused. But anyway, 2 soldiers going down over on the blue side. They're going to get S&H up on the sniper. Soldiers going to be rolling back out to second. And like you say, sammakot wasted no time at all. There's at midpoint 1, 3 players left alive. Despite GG hitting that really nice pipe to preserve his own life, didn't manage to resurrect those around him. So now pressure going into lobby, and we'll see if Sackwave number 2 is as energetic as Sackwave number 1.
See if there's another railgun soldier primed and ready with Pickles' name on it, or if it's going to be a little bit more traditional as they try to do this with the sniper duel instead. S&H trying to get that angle through the shutter. Unfortunately, won't be finding the target. Silves just walks into a sticky trap this time around. He will instantly get gibbed instead of getting sent into the enemy team. Unfortunate for him, but not much to lose either. I mean, you lost a soldier. Boo-hoo, not a big deal when you're trying to push into last and the enemy team is not very keen on pushing out. You're just gonna have to wait a few seconds for him to come back. You know, make sure you don't run into a sniper sideline as UG's counter-sniping, and you'll probably be okay. You might have an okay time, as the next opportunity, next attempts may very well unfold before us.
Yeah, I'm liking the up tempo here we're seeing from sammakot. Last time we saw them sat on last, they only really got 2 or 3 proper sack attempts off in the full 5 minutes, and now we've already seen 2. There's only a minute and a half of this cap time gone down, and they're already gearing up for sack attempt number 3. Or perhaps it's just going to be pressure from this right-hand side. S&H looking in, walking forward very slowly, getting ready for the big peak round. Going to look onto the height, see if he can land the shot over there onto those 2 soldiers, which managed to land anything. The soldiers, in fact, Ryan is going to bomb in and trade out 1-for-1 with S&H.
Let's get that little trade out at the very least. They do find a frag onto Ryan. Might still open things up ever so slightly for sammakot. Sure, they got to deal with that sniper who's got plenty of room to look at people on this last point. Not much cover for the most part, but at the very least, they got themselves some spamming room to make. They got a little bit of space to try and get through a door for the time being, as now obviously everybody's respawned. We're going to be looking at another opportunity, and half the time they could spend on trying to get into this last has passed for sammakot, so they gotta find an answer to this sooner rather than later. They don't want it to go to another round reset again. Every time they find themselves in a situation so far, they just don't manage to conclude it and then just go straight back to mid and start losing it. So this is where they have do or die time. They gotta make something happen. S&H has gotta start hitting an insane headshot here, get a frag that he really wants, and suddenly things will turn around for them. But NOOBPANZER are so close on these holes as well. They do eventually lose a sniper duel at the very least. Huge gets taken down, maybe opens things up a little bit for sammakot to try and get on this right side. They actually get the sentry spam down just over the wall. Nice little pipes there to clear out that, and maybe make some room for the soldiers. The Silves bombs in, gets in deep, but doesn't really find any target at all, as the Pickles is well out of harm's way, using, I think, the teleporter actually to get out of position. But Hey, at the very least, an attempt was made. The Sanctuary is still not up, so there's another chance. And who knows what other off-class shenanigans we may see out of them going forward.
Well, Corey's running back to spawn, so this signifies to me there's going to be at least something afoot. As Corey swaps out onto the Spy. Okay, Spy and Sniper at the same time. I guess they're kind of hoping they don't have to use any of their Ubers at the moment because there's no scouts on the field. But with the Spy and the Sniper, there's a clear intention. And that clear intention is a target over on Pickles' back. Is there maybe some like coordinated play, maybe make Pickles go on the teleport and then have someone there waiting on the other side? Is it something like that? Is it just going to be soldiers coming in for distraction? I want to see whereabouts Corey manages to get into position. Probably just peeking in from this window up on top lobby. But I think the game is over. I think Hugie is on the Pyro and is completely aware of what's going their way.
They lose Derpy as well. I mean, eventually they trade him out for Ryan, but again, so much time lost for Sammakot, and Corey having a really hard time getting in. He finally gets on the pipe, he's up top, you're just going to have a hard time spy checking up there, but Corey's also going to have to find a good time to decloak and drop down onto any sort of priority target. At this point, you might just sap the Sentry and let your soldiers go in. That's certainly a possibility as well, but you've got 30 seconds to make it happen. You gotta do something with this opportunity you have. They're gonna send it. Sammakot have no choice, basically. They have to send it at some point.
20 seconds, even if they get like the drop, they have to be there for the post fight instantly to start using it. They're going to walk in through the top. The Uber charge is in, traded out from either side. Gun taken down also. Puck goes down as well. Okay, one frag in the favor, but they have to get some cap time to make this round last a few more seconds. The stab comes in onto the heavy, but there's no cap presence. Oh, it was looking so winnable over on Sammakot, but they just couldn't get down to the point in time. The spy play honestly worked for my money, getting the stab on the heavy straight afterwards. Like, yeah,
good enough. Yeah, Corey did his job. It's just that nobody could quite get on the point. GG was alive for too long, did too much damage to people trying to get on the point and knight them just in the nick of time. Nobody could get overtime, and just like that, we're back to mid-fight. We're back to a round reset. Sammakot must be kicking themselves for letting this happen again, but they gotta make do. They gotta make it work once more, and maybe this opportunity is gonna go just as well. They won the last bit, so they can certainly try to make it happen once more, as they're much more aggressive this time around on the other side. Puck is gonna be first to fall as they shut down the bombs from Ryan as well, and once more, NOOBPANZER not looking too strong on the Granary mid-fight right now. Hugie eventually gets taken care of as well, and it's another opportunity for Sammakot to keep going forward. This time around, they're a bit less scrambled on the side of NOOBPANZER though. They're a little less scrambled, they're a lot more ready to hold on to second as well, and make Sammakot work for it.
There's still two down though. The lobby is just taken. Like, the soldiers are so important in particular. Just like denying these doorways into lobby, into lunchbox, into all the possible tiny little nooks and crannies that you've got to get through to get onto that second point. And with one soldier down, that is enough to start going in, and Black already starting off the batting with a sack in through the top of lobby. But he's not going to land anything. It's going to be sent straight back to the respawn queue. But again, Sammakot just trying to keep the tempo up with these sacks, trying to keep them quick, trying to keep them frequent. Because the more chances you've got, the more chance that you are going to strike gold eventually.
Yeah, well, if you went to take a piss before the end of the last round, you may be very well confused as to what's happening and how we're basically back in the exact same situation. We have another spy coming out on the side of SNH this time around for Sammakot. Perhaps this time around it will work better. Unfortunately, they lose a soldier straight away as Hugie finds that angle and now gets a lot more space to work with as well. He rotates over to the other shutter. You gotta be ready on that one. You don't want to risk it. Sills is there on cleanup duty, making sure that Sniper doesn't get anything done, but they have to get that spy in, and SNH is waiting for his opportunity. He really wants to get in. Obviously, ideally without letting anybody know of his presence, and that is tough when there's two doors that open when you walk past them, and then also a little choke point up top. And also the fact that they've spy checked on the other side, which means there's almost certainly a chance that they're now aware of it, so
it just took too long. I think that one kill on that soldier slowing things down, meaning that SNH couldn't get in. The fact that they couldn't play the spy play instantly has really come back to bite them, because maybe they wouldn't have had a chance to go for that spy check. Maybe they wouldn't have thought to do so with the play coming off the train. Is it once more going to be Corey taking the Uber charge in straight into this huge pyro? They're getting absolutely demolished here in this fight. The gun is only just taken down. There is still 3 players up to try and scramble towards this point. SNH is still on spy, just waiting to try and back up, but I'm sure they're all aware. They knew there was a spy at some point. Yeah, look at 4 players here. They're spamming all the little hiding spots.
Oh, no.
Oh, and took damage.
Actually, Puck didn't see it. Puck didn't see it. SNH took the rocket, but Puck didn't see him get flinched, so
Ryan behind,
he's still hidden for the time being. He's still hidden for the time being. He's not going to get the back cap at this point. There's no way. He's going to have to cut his losses, but at the very least, he could get a cheeky backstep here. Just decloak at the right time, maybe. Nope.
Too late.
That's not going to happen. That was probably the worst time he could have had, but at this point, you just... sunk cost fallacy. It was too much. You gotta go back and just try again. Look, at least NOOBPANZER didn't get actually to cap second. They didn't get to cap that point, so it's basically just a reset. You get another opportunity.
That is true. They said 3 players just sat on last the entire time there.
They were so scared of the spy.
They were so scared, exactly. Like, that's the value. It meant that the spy pretty much meant that they kept hold of second there, because I think otherwise those surviving players and NOOBPANZER are just able to walk forward, just take the space on second, and maybe at least try and lock themselves in that lobby area. But now there's still 2 more minutes left to play, and 2 more minutes for Sacks over on the sammakot side of things, as Silves and Hughes both having a peep through this far right-hand side. Nothing there to be seen so far, and especially like this sniper is just so good at Granary last in the defensive half. Yuji looking straight down on that far left, as we saw before. Like, even when there's players down, they took so much space, and then Yuji just shows presence, and they have to walk back. It's such a value pick if they can get over and kill over onto Yuji, but Yuji's just playing it really safe, really intelligent, playing up on the height, really hard to get to. And it's all about whether they can get through. And it looks like again they're grouping over on the NOOBPANZER, on the sammakot side, excuse me.
And maybe just trying to go for an exchange of some kind. They're just sending in players, sending in some material to make something happen. They find a sentry, some spam for that. Unfortunately, they lose their own soldier though. Silves for a sentry is certainly not the trade you're looking for, and it's not going to make things any easier when you're trying to hold people off from doing a bit of damage to you. Although, if you're NOOBPANZER, not much of a reason to push out either. You can go for the round reset at this point. It's going to be better for you. It's going to be the second one we'll see. And sammakot struggling. Capital S struggling, trying to get somewhere with this. Trying to get anywhere with these, just, you know, as attempted to last. These sacks, anything happening, nothing works out. Yeah, at some point you just gotta say, screw it, let's actually just go for an exchange and see what happens afterwards, right?
Well, they tried that and they got pyroed straight into the corner by the air blast. It really didn't go well, and now they're gonna drop Corey on the way in. Oh, exchange is cancelled. It's cancelled, everyone go home, it's over. Exchange not happening as Corey is taken down instantaneously by a nice little pipe, I believe, through the top window there from GG. 22 seconds left, and we are all set for round reset number 2. Have you ever seen 2 round resets in 13 minutes? That would be crazy, but there's still 15 seconds of time, and there's still potentially time to go in for some hero play, something crazy. There's a pyro to deal with, there's a gun, there's a demo man, and there's an uber charge over from Piggles onto these unslotting players, and they can't even get in, they can't even get through the shutters. They've got 1 soldier in so far on Silves, no cap time at all. That was 12 minutes and 40 seconds, and we've had 2 round resets.
And both of them were on NOOBPANZER's last, of all things. I mean, look, if we're gonna have a match this close, I didn't expect that sammakot would actually have the control edge at the very least, right? They'd be the ones ahead by that, but does it matter at the end of the day? Well, if they can't convert it, then no. We've wasted half of the map time, and no rounds have been ticked over just yet, as we're into our third mid-fight on 0-0. Surely this time around, something's gonna go different for either team here. Surely sammakot will be able to convert. Surely NOOBPANZER will finally win a mid and not have to sit on last for the next 5 minutes, but I guess we'll see as the mid-fight unfolds. As well, have a bit of a rougher time with that one, and would you look at that? They have stabilized. They have stabilized like this. It's gonna be NOOBPANZER having to actually push into second somehow. Having to somehow make something happen here. It's a different situation they haven't found themselves in for the past 15 minutes, so they finally get to play the game as well. But they're already doing a lot of damage onto the side of sammakot as well. Just bullying their way into this point as best they can. Piggles getting so low and opting not to use. Very, very opportune there. Yeah, you gotta respect it, but obviously sammakot have tasted the blood. They know that damage. Black does get taken care of eventually, but they do feel a little bit of aggression might come their way sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd argue, right? This is a bold statement from me. I think this position that NOOBPANZER are in is better than anything sammakot have had so far. Because outside of second, you can cap the point and then roll it through. Right? There's a chance that you just have the fight and it goes well. I guess depending on how passive sammakot are playing it. But after 2 round resets, you just sort of for something different potentially. As Ryan is going to be the one sneaking all the way through, maybe going to try and go for some sort of play here over on the lunchbox flank. But for now, the spam game got their soldiers back in. Derby Hughes trying to deny this doorway. GG seems to be winning out this fight in terms of damage at least. And actually, 2 frags fall on the flank. That's going to be a retreat out of lobby. sammakot, they have to leave. They're 2 players down. Nobody there to watch lunchbox. They're going to have to get themselves set up on last. And there's 10 more seconds for these spawners as well. So potentially NOOBPANZER can go for something quick. They can maybe try and charge through and get some pressure in on this last Orion heavy to try and hang on the big sack wave coming in over towards Seeds, who just about gets out alive to the spawn door. Derby Hughes down. On the heavy is just about alive. No taken down finally by some spam across the point. But now 2 players down, 2 scouts down. Important picks on NOOBPANZER falling as one last final soldier in Puck is going to try and sack in, but it's not going to be. The sammakot hold tall, they hold strong, and they are maybe thinking about perhaps pushing back into second. GG is there, so there is one dem one, lots of stickies to get through. Potentially not if Sills. Oh, okay. Huge.
Slips in, nice little serve to get onto GG and actually put a lot of damage on the Pickles as well. The follow-up is there to clean up Huge as well. And suddenly, sammakot look to be back in control. They're in the driver's seat. Sure, there's still an Uber to deal with on the side of NOOBPANZER as well, but worst case you go for an exchange at this point. And NOOBPANZER are well aware of the situation they find themselves in. They're gonna go for the exchange. They're gonna force it out, and gets a little bit of a better Uber considering they don't have to flash as much, but it will still be a trade for soldiers that are not in the Uber for the time being, and in the post position, surely it's a little bit better for sammakot. Never mind, they lose Derpy, and now they have to leave. They got no choice. Oh, even if SNH gets a little frag onto Ryan there to trade out Black, it's not gonna matter. He gets it. Matter of fact, he can't even escape this time around. He's not the escapist this time around.
Yeah, I thought that was looking good because I saw Sills pop in and get a really, what looked like a really early force out onto Pickles, but Seeds was also getting caught out in the meantime, and yeah, the trade comes through and just losing so many players in that post. They weren't quick enough to get out of sammakot, and now they're paying the price for it. They're back to their own last again. They were here briefly, just a few minutes ago, and they hung on just about well enough. Seeds was very quick to scurry towards that spawn door. Upon that wave of aggression we saw, was like almost a quad sack, I think, in the end from NOOBPANZER. But this time it's going to be a bit more slow, a bit more sedate, because there's no instant picks to try and start pressuring off. I say that, but GG is already in, bombing very high. Lots of players into the force comes out as Ryan and Hugie both win. Ryan goes down, Soldier Scout demo down for the offensive team, but there's 3 players still up. They're going to maybe have to concede second, given how far away these spawners are, but with an ad, it's maybe something you take for NOOBPANZER.
Yeah, they certainly have an opportunity to. The spawners are going to be there. Matter of fact, they all got forwards as well, so they will easily be able to retake second. No problem with that whatsoever. It's going to be on sammakot to use this little bit of time they've bought themselves, set up an even more solid last hold, buy themselves the time. Maybe Corey gets a crazy shot here to catch somebody off guard as they try to move in, but NOOBPANZER are aware of the situation and managed to take the top route. They're going to go in from above as well. Early pop even to make sure nobody gets picked off too soon, and they find a little bit of ground with it. They haven't capped second yet either though, so they actually missing off the players in the fight. Even if they find a couple of frags now in the post Uber, they're going to be waiting for a while to get in, and they're going to be given a positioning. Surely it's still going to be for NOOBPANZER, they'll be with the players, and never mind, they just get the force out of Seeds. Now they have to leave, and even if they hang on to their lives, which they're not doing a good job at, they're not in a great position for second now.
Yeah, leave, but with who? They've got Pickles, they've got Poke, they've got Volks.
Yeah.
Poke going to try and pressure into second. Maybe catches this one to do. Goes dangerously weak, but is just about able to live. GG's still not there. There's a bomb coming round onto the shutter. He's actually going to land straight into Seeds' face, but Seeds serves it all the way back. Well dealt with there from Corey, and again they sort of one at a time feeding coming in from NOOBPANZER as they're now going to have to retreat even further back. GG is going to be here in this fight potentially, but they're already out. They're already all the way back out of garage, and sammakot start to get the wind in their sails as they've capped up mid. Pickles is going to have a slight ad, because remember the Uber charge into last came about 10 seconds or so before Seeds had to use in that post fight to clean up those players, but on your own second, it's so hard to get in. Seeds already at 90%. It's not an ad that they can push off. So we're maybe going to slow things down again and see what sammakot have got in a slightly different stalemate this time and trying to break into yard.
It is the unofficial 6th and 7th point on Granary, so perhaps this is where they can snowball a little bit. A good push in here could be all it takes for sammakot to actually convert last. If you can't do the last push, just win so hard on second that you can roll it all the way. It's certainly a possibility. It's worked before for teams that have struggled with their last conversions, and perhaps this is all it takes. Perhaps you can get a cheeky bomb in that will just work, and all of a sudden things are looking mighty fine. But it is in sammakot's court, the ball. They have to make something happen. They've got SNH up on the sniper once more. Certainly not a common sight. Sniper into yard from the attacking team. Haven't seen that quite frequently, but hey, perhaps it's something new, something about the novelty, something about the rarity of the strat. Oh, Black manages to slip in, matter of fact. Just cause a little bit of havoc. Lots of damage to GG actually as well. And there's an exchange going on mid. I've just noticed this. They used this as an opportunity to go for the exchange. I guess Pickle's forced, trying to keep his team alive or whatever. And suddenly, it's a much better position for NOOBPANZER because they don't have any soldiers to deal with. Fuji slips in and actually gets the frag onto Seeds as well. No way.
No, that was a fantastic play in behind there from Huge, but it was also just a fantastic decision to go for that trade. They'd just seen Black sack in onto their demo, get not too much of anything, and they know there's still a sniper on the field, so if they take the trade, in terms of like combat classes that are going to do well in a scrappy fight, it's essentially 6v4, so NOOBPANZER thought, you know, we're just going to fly in, take mid, and in the chaos they're able to slip Huge in behind and get that really, really crucial pick over onto Seeds, and dare I say, this is the best chance at a round that we've seen yet. We've got a big Uber advantage. Second point is yet to be capped up yet, but Seeds is 60-70% behind on this Uber. Foxy already seen pressuring into last as well. Second point getting capped up. Pickle is going to be Ubering in very, very soon. And NOOBPANZER, this has been such a sluggish game, such a slow game, such a hard fought game. This is their best chance yet.
This is the opportunity they have. Surely this is a conversion onto the last point, but they have to still fight for a little bit. They've lost Seeds though on the defensive side early on. He gets taken care of, no heals and nobody there to try and protect the point. And there you go. After a grueling 22.5 minutes, we finally found ourselves with the first round on the board for NOOBPANZER.
Yeah, and again, it's just winning these fights over on mid even that time. They can just spiral out of control and take you all the way down to the other side of the map. And NOOBPANZER, they know in all these times they've gone to sammakot's last, it's always been so quick before. They've never had to deal with the gun or anything like that. They've just been straight in instantly every single time. And again, they make it work with a big Uber ad, all being said, but it works out regardless. Now sammakot, their mids have been so good so far. They've 3 for 3, I believe, as they're going to start pressuring again towards the lower side. GG, Huge, Ryan all going down. Players falling all over the place. Puck going to try and maybe go for something in behind, but it's going to be so tough with Corey and SNH on his tail. And now 2 players left up, just Foxy, just Pickles, and we might be going to a very, very familiar place.
They've been on top of these mids, but very unfortunately for sammakot, not one of them has converted into a round win because they keep letting Pickles escape. Pickles is too good at slipping away and staying alive, keeping that Uber in play. Oh, they didn't score into that pipe as well. That's very unfortunate for any sort of momentum they could have had it to last year. So, yeah, they just keep letting Pickles get away with it. And now they're, once again, in the equal Uber situation, and this is where they struggle. They have no chance now to try and catch them somehow, be a little bit aggressive or whatever. They have to sit through the grueling, trying to make an opening thing again. Maybe at some point the off classes will work out as well. Corey on the spy for this time around. I mean,
again, it's checked though. Huge is straight on it. They're gonna know instantly.
It's they're aware that they know that it always comes out of sammakot. They're so reliant on the sniper and the spy plays. Corey's even been, you know, damaged already, so he's not looking too healthy. He's not looking too good. Trying to slip in, and okay, he managed to get onto the pipe at the very least. But Yuji's there, spy checking. He's not gonna have an easy time dropping down. All it takes is somebody to just fire a stray bullet up there of some kind, and things are gonna be looking mighty different.
Yeah, it's so hard to break in, and we saw there. Just actually, never mind. The trade is in again, up top, straight in onto Puck. Actually, one track found, but it's such a late Uber from Pickles. The spy gets not a great deal of anything over on the retreat. Ryan getting juggled around. Seeds goes down. Huge already pushing into lobby up on the pyro. He's going to be forced all the way back out. But with Seeds getting caught in the post fight, it's going to be an Uber ad for NOOBPANZER team. If they're able to hang on, if they're able to keep alive the rest of their players, there's 3 players sat in SNH Black Sills, all being taken down by their counterparts. now. Derby, who's left alone to try and defend Lunchbox, is chased down also by Poke, and now second point given up. Might even go further too, because there's still Uber ad. Maybe players getting denied spawn. It's going to be a demo denied at least on mid, so it's going to be super difficult. There's a sniper in forwards to potentially slow things down, to potentially catch an all-important shot on any pushing players. Oh, it's an uphill struggle now from sammakot.
This is where you need to switch up the playbook. The snipers and spies, even if they're, you know, SNH very capable. Corey obviously managed to at least get a stab on one of the pushes, but if they're not working out, you gotta whip up something new. You gotta bring out the big guns, and I'm talking about the parachute. And we need to see the parachute.
We haven't seen it too. Proven it works.
This map has a super tall skybox. It has been proven that it works. Surely somebody's gonna get the clue and be like, wait a minute, there's a new tool that we've been handed. There's a new rule in the playbook. Maybe perhaps.
Oh, so close.
That's scary. Pickles probably clenched a little bit on that one.
Yeah,
just a little bit. Yeah, still isn't gonna get anywhere with that. Boxy gets headshot though in the scramble, in the midst. The flashbang worked, but to what extent? You lost both of your soldiers for it. 2 flashbangs for a scout kill? I don't know about that.
And this is like the kind of situation where before they got traded into as well with a sniper and 1 pick advantage. It's essentially 2 picks if you get into a scrappy, messy sort of brawl on this middle point. But NOOBPANZER, no, there's nothing to risk. They can just chill all the way back. They don't need to go for anything too aggressive. No aggressive trades needed. Nothing too risky, as they can just get themselves set all the way back up, close in yard, trying to deal with this sniper play from SNH, but the trade comes in, and it's a trade used in onto Corey, the only one in this Uber so far, but they're just going to have to run all the way around from Garage and just rejoin with the rest of the team. It's little Toad Edge drives in, runs all the way through, and then straight back out. Not really taking too much contact.
Yeah, well, you know, at least they took the initiative for once. They tried to do something, even if it didn't, you know, materialize anything. At the very least, you gotta respect sammakot for taking the initiative. They know they only got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. They have to start moving if they want to equalize this once more. They found themselves in this situation on the last map as well, and it also came back to bite them in the end. But you gotta start moving quickly. They don't have a lot of time to work with. They gotta have to let that sniper hit some nasty shots, make his presence felt against NOOBPANZER, because as it stands right now, they're not doing much with it, and NOOBPANZER are actually so passive. They've already realized the situation that they're in, where they basically just have to not lose for the next 2 minutes.
They use in?
That is shambolic. What the hell is? How does this happen?
And they died to the... Oh no! Oh, it's falling apart at the seams on sammakot. They don't just use their Uber in so soon. They also drop their pocket scout at the end of it. Pickles still full Uber. The entire NOOBPANZER team just busted through the right-hand side of yard. They're already threatening to go into mid, but like again, they don't really need to if they don't want to. They can just sit here, and that seems like what they're electing to do, at least for now. Yard has been taken, but Seeds is another 30 seconds away from getting another Uber charge up, and there's only 1 minute 30 left to play, so they've really got to rush in now. We saw this last map, when you have to start rushing, it gets so much more difficult. SNH trying to peek into the lobby, but it's just so hard. There's so many spam classes, it's so close range. The demos and the soldiers are going to do so much more damage. Again, they're sticking with it. They have to. SNH hasn't had a chance to really go back, but you're just praying on a miracle at this point.
sammakot uses worst Uber charge ever, asked to leave league immediately. That is indefensible. I don't even know how that happens.
Frags, though.
I mean, they did now to open things up, but they lose 2 immediately in the exchange that comes after. And even if Derpy slips in, he's not going to get much done alone. Just stuck in last. He's going to get cleaned up immediately as well. And, well, they get second. sammakot still have a chance. They got 40 seconds to get onto this point. Respawners are there, though, as well. Crucially, a heavy to try and keep this point safe. And only 30 seconds and some respawners in a dream. That's all sammakot has got.
Nope, they
do not have time for that. They gotta dry fight this, they gotta just send it, and unfortunately, that is where they probably struggle, because they gotta go up against a fully overhealed heavy. They're taking their sweet time as well. They can't play overtime. You gotta get on the point right now if you're sammakot. SNH has gotten the memo. He's just walking in, holding W. He's realized the stakes that are at play here. Finally, sammakot make their way forward, get a little bit of presence, but they still have no cap time whatsoever. And it's not gonna be enough to round out any sort of round. It's gonna be 1-0, the map time for NOOBPANZER. This was way closer than anybody should have expected it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there, like that last fight we saw, they got a ton of space. To be fair, over on Sammakot's push, but the fact that Gigi just didn't get the sticks on point at all just meant that nobody could go near it. And it was fine that they were giving up ground, but the fact that nobody could step on that point, no one could get any cap time, it was just doomed from the get-go. And that's why we don't see teams running in with a dry fight 6v6 into a full team with an overhealed heavy. But like you say, though, this has been such a close game, and honestly, Sammakot have done great at various parts of this, but it's got to be said, these last pushes, these attempts into last, in these stalemates, it's been shaky from them. There's just been a few moments where you're really thinking, you know what, they could have taken this one, and we saw that they've won 3 mids. They essentially got like mid to like an equal Ubers last instantly on 3 of
Yeah,
these mid fights, and not to convert any of them. Against a team like NOOBPANZER, you have to take the chances when they're given, and Sammakot unfortunately just haven't managed it today.
not to mention they didn't get any of them. All 3 of them went to a round reset. Across the series, we had, I think, 4 round resets in total, 3 of them when Sammakot was trying to push last. Just let that sink in for a minute, right? That is historical, monumental fumbling of the last pushes. Sure, they weren't like assured last pushes, right? It's not like they went in with a full Uber ad and then beefed. They were tough pushes to pull off, but still, it is historical to have 4 round resets across 2 maps like that and just never be able to come back from it and keep them. Like, you lose so much momentum as well, right? You don't have the opportunity to roll with it in any capacity whatsoever. NOOBPANZER just slowed the game down exactly when they needed to, and it worked out both times.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a thing that happens, like, especially, like, when, for example, that first round, they're obviously they're grinding for 5 whole minutes, they get sent to the round reset, and they go straight through, they win out mid completely, they kill, what, 3 players, don't lose anyone, roll straight through to the last, and then literally a minute and a half after they've just been out of that stalemate, they're back into it again, and they know that they have that small window opportunity before the gun's getting built, before the full off-class setup is there, before everyone's in position and ready and spamming the angles properly. They and they go in at that moment when it's the easiest and it doesn't work, and then they know after that there's the next 4.5 minutes is just going to get harder and harder. The gun gets built, the teleporter gets built, there's a heavy. Every time someone dies, there's a spy checking if you've got a spy of your own. The hill just gets taller and taller and taller the longer you get into those stalemates. And on Granary, they just didn't have the answers to break in.
Yeah, they couldn't quite conclude it, and honestly, I don't think there's much else to say. Besides that, right? Apart from the fact that they did eventually lose, still a strong showing out of
Oh,
Sammakot.
absolutely. Like I think
Like,
honestly they were the better team for long parts.
yeah, like given a team as good as NOOBPANZER a run for their money, even if you can't draw it to conclusion, right? Still giving them like an actual fight, having to make them work like this. This is something you would have expected out of like a NOOBPANZER Mandem match or a NOOBPANZER Skeda match, right? That it would be this closely matched. But the fact that Sammakot actually gave them a run for their money, even if they couldn't win, is still that's still a good showing. Honestly, like if you're gonna take away anything from this, even if you're not gonna take any points, it's something to maybe boost the morale a little bit, I guess.
I don't normally like to talk on logs like and harp on about it too much, but there was one thing I just noticed a second ago on the logs, right? Did Piggles really not die?
Yeah, no, he does that sometimes.
Did he literally just not die the entire map?
Yep.
Because that is outrageous if
I
that's
mean,
true.
it's easy to stay alive when you're just sitting on your last for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but even in these like transitions and stuff, and even in these mid fights as well, like Grandary's notorious
That's what I
for
was
being
saying.
a hard mid
That's
to live on, and yeah, like
that's
it's
what I was
madness
saying.
from Piggles.
He just got out every time. Even if Samakot had the fighting mid fights, they never caught Pickles. He was out soon enough. As soon as he saw things turn dire for his team, bro was not even holding the S button. He turned around and walked away as fast as he could, and it worked every single time. Matter of fact, he even got 2 kills, which means he's got literally the best kill death ratio on the server.
Yeah, absolute madness there. But I guess we can start maybe wrapping up. I know we said before this has
Yeah.
got big playoff implications. New Panzer, I think, are going to shoot back up to second in the table behind Mandem if my my memory serves me correctly. Sammakot not going to gain anything this week, but honestly, like there was a great showing. They're going to be looking good for the rest of this season to potentially pick off some more points against those like middle of the pack teams that's surrounding them to potentially get that fourth playoff spot. We've got some more games coming on later this week. I believe we've got the Bandem against Danish Tyrant Regime game happening over on Sunday over on the
Yes.
main channel, and I think that's the next game. Maybe.
Should be. Should be. I don't think there's anything else planned for this week. It's been a busy week. It has been a very busy week, but we're gonna be looking at that one for now, and then I think that's gonna be it until next week, at least.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess let's sign off there. Thank you, Cindy, for joining me. Thank you, Antimation, my Frost Hazard friend on the production, for staying awake through all of that. And thank you all for joining us. And we'll hope to see you all on Sunday for that game, Danish Tyrant Regime against Mandem, over on the main Essentials channel. So see you there.